Kamen Rider Build.
Hey YouTube, Kamen Rider here with my review of Kamen Rider Build episode 34. Oh boy, was this a good episode. This was sort of the big episode where we got clarification on what's going on with Ryuga a bit. I'm sure there still is more questions I have for sure, but this was one of the clear answers, and it was a good episode. It basically picked up right where we left off, and it involved Evol. Is it Evol? They had a conversation just like this. They're like, Stalk, Evol. It just keeps confusing me because his name's Evol, but he's Kamen Rider Evol. Anyway, so they're fighting him, and then Evol / Stalk / Evol infects Sento with something, and then like after they regroup from the sickness, he calls them up and he's like, yo, I have the cure for, I don't know why I said yo, that was weird, it's a weird choice, but like he calls them and says, you know, I'll give you the cure if you give me the bottles and the Pandora box. You know, I'm at the cafe, and they said the name of the cafe, honest to God, and I can't even remember it now, which is the funniest part, actually. I didn't even know the cafe's name. Like, I couldn't remember it, I just knew it as the cafe or the coffee shop, and like, they said the name, and then like, when they showed up for the meet, they showed like a shot of the sign. I'm like, oh, it has a name, and then I forgot it now, already again, because it's not really important. But yeah, they met there, he kind of ransacked the place just in case they happened to store Pandora's box there. Like, there's papers everywhere, and then I had this funny vision of them putting the Pandora's box on a desk, and then like had like a couple pieces of paper on it, like totally hit it. But yeah, like he makes the deal with them, like, I'll meet me here, and you know, give me the stuff, and I'll you know, exchange for the box and stuff like that. So yeah, and then like they wind up meeting, and then that's when we get before the fight, we get the explainer about Ryuga, because he says like, oh, you know, you are me. Like, I'm like, Detective, you? No, but so there's been several different theories floating around, theories that I've had about what exactly Ryuga is in relation to this. I thought either he was just like a Martian, like nothing special, just some sort of Martian, and that's just why he's more adept at hazard levels. He was maybe the version of some sort of champion or royalty that opposed Evol, or he was somehow tied to Evol, like, you know, a henchman, or I knew that there was a good chance it was related to Evol directly, but I think the way they explained it in this episode, like, made it more clear and made the idea more interesting, because honestly, I didn't think it was like a full-on, basically, he was split. I thought it was more like a seed, like it was like a Horcrux is spelled with a W, but I thought it was like that type of situation where it was like a fail-safe or something like that. I didn't know it was like a full-on split, so they're like two halves of the same whole. That's really cool. Like, again, that was not like it's a totally new theory outside of the realm of what was discussed, but just, I think the way they framed it in this episode and sort of made it, the idea more clear, made it actually cool, because I still have some problems with all of a sudden making Ryuga special. I mean, it's not all of a sudden, but you know what I mean. But I think this is a really cool idea, and it sort of increases the interesting relationship and the bond between Sento and Ryuga, who were both previously bad people, but then, you know, without their memories, are making good on it. It's funny though, because this was a concept for a Black Mirror episode where the girl did something terrible. She doesn't remember it because they wiped her mind, but they still punish her over and over again, even though she doesn't remember what she did. It's just interesting. Anyway, spoiler alert for White Bear. But this episode's Blue Dragon. No, but so then they like basically did almost like a classic rewrite scene where they're like, oh, this and this and this we learned before was true, but we didn't know about this. And they recapped it that Sento's original name, Kasarage, I think it's Kasarage? Kasarago? Casserole, he was meeting with them, he sent a message to meet Stalk and Ryuga, although Ryuga shouldn't have known his existence. Like, he shouldn't have been self-aware at that point, but he called a meeting because he knew that they were evil, evil, the pun really worked there, and he was gonna take them out. And Stalk's like, no way, Jose, and he punched him, and it was actually kind of funny, because he's like, well, I gotta take this guy out, and he's like, now we just wait for Ryuga, and then Sento's previous doppelganger, if I have to say doppelganger one more time, I gotta learn how to spell it, comes in with his just, you know, his personality. He was being extra. So that was kind of a funny moment there, but basically he explains the stuff behind that he found out he was evil, and they were evil, and he was going to kill him, and that just kind of adds a little intricacy to it. I love how the puzzle pieces have changed now that they don't have their memories. But so, yeah, they explained that. It was also kind of neat, because Casserole was about to use the driver, Gorillamon, and it didn't work because it was just the prototype, and Stalk's like, boom, joke's on you, the Nacho line was here all along. And I was a little disappointed just because it was like a super fan servicey moment, or, you know, I kind of wanted to see Sento's old face transform into Build. I thought that would have been a cool moment. Because it's not like Stalk probably still couldn't have taken him. Like, I think it would have been cool if he went Gorillamon and then, like, Stalk just got one of his super Mars punches that's all glowy Iron Fisty and punched him and it de-transformed him. Like, I don't know, it just would have been kind of cool because we're so associated with new Sento with his new face transforming into it, and the idea that old Sento transformed. I don't know, it's such a small detail, it just kind of would have been cool to see. But yeah, so we find out more clarification on that, and then he's like, you know, okay, I brought the stuff, here's the cure, and he's like, the cure is defeating me, mwahaha. He didn't say it like that. But then they fought, and he took out Grease and him almost immediately, and he's like, are you really going to give your life for Sento? Because if you transform again, it could cost you. And then we have like classic monologue about, you know, I didn't care about anybody before I met Sento, and he made me care about people. And it's interesting because this isn't the case of like one formerly terrible person or sort of, you know, gray area person meeting one great person that made them good. That these both were people that became better people after their memories were lost and sort of made each other better, which is kind of neat. I'll talk about more stuff like that probably later, or in the wrap-up review when the series ends. But so then he's like, of course it's worth it, basically, and transforms into magma, and he goes Super Saiyan Rage, and he's fighting him, and Stalk's like listing off his hazard level as he's fighting him, kind of like a power level, and he's all fiery and explosion-y, and boom, explodes him. And, you know, then clearing the dust from the explosion, they're like, oh, he did it, but Sento's not cured. But then you see Ryuga, and you immediately know what happened, even before he spoke, because his hairstyle was different. Like, in the midst of explosion, they're like, wait, I gotta get my hair did, quick, come into I'm on the explosion on 5th. And the hairdresser comes in, and then he's got a new hairstyle. So, Ryuga with his poofy new hairstyle waves his hand and cures Sento, and now they're, like, merged. I didn't expect that, to be honest. Because I thought what the cool thing about Evol's other forms is that they were going to be fighting, and he's like, boom, I got a rabbit and dragon form, what now? And they're like, oh my god, he's got our face. But this was like, Ryuga and Evol became one, assumingly, and he transforms into Evol dragon form, basically, with the classic claws helmet. So that was really cool, because I didn't expect it to work like that. Because originally, I talked about this in my news video, that I thought that those forms were somehow Sento and Banjo getting their hands on an Evol driver to counter Evol. But then I'm like, oh, it's forms for Evol. But then Ryuga's actually using it as Evol. I didn't expect that. It was a really cool moment, really added to it. I'm curious how that works, because we have approximately, roughly, give or take, 15 episodes left in this season. So obviously I don't think Ryuga's gonna stay as Evol Stalk for the whole rest of the season. Who knows? They could surprise me. But especially I'm curious because Evol just wasn't a disembodied Evol. Misora's dad is there. Also, the princess came out temporarily in this episode and got immediately pushed back, or the queen or whatever, Vaseline and Casserole are the names I'm going for. But yeah, I didn't expect that, and I'm curious to see like what happened to Misora's dad as a host, and presuming that Ryuga doesn't stay the antagonist body for the remainder amount of time Evol is existing, I'm curious what kind of form he'll take. And like, what will he temporarily take over Sento when he uses the rabbit form? Who knows? Really, really cool, because I like that this answered questions but left me so much more curious. I'm especially curious about the how of Evol got separated into two. I hope we find that out. I would love some sort of cool flashback, or at the very least a good explainer. I'm pretty sure we'll get some sort of answer, but that was probably my biggest question, is how that happened. And then of course, like, you know, how Stalk is going to fit in now. Like, is the dad going to be freed now? Is he going to go back into the dad after Ryuga breaks free? Is there going to be a new host? All kinds of stuff like that. Also, it's kind of disappointing that Glasses Guy is probably going to be Mad Rogue, because I think actual Rogue becoming Mad Rogue could be really cool. Because like at the beginning of the episode, he's like, oh, no one can defeat the power of the Evol driver. I'm only using 2% of my full power. And with Rogue sitting there right there with his dad, I was just thinking that would be a cool moment for him to think, I need to get an Evol driver and come back and smash Rogue. That's a total side note that has nothing to do with anything else I've been talking about, but you know, something I forgot to talk about at the beginning. But yeah, this was a good episode. A good, solid answer about Ryuga. It really enhanced the storyline for me for his character, and a really great, impactful ending. I'd give this a 9. Anyway, until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. It's Dawson Rider, signing out.